Hello vinyl community, welcome. I'm going to do Vinyl Spins number 3, and this is Vinyl Spins, at least what I've been playing digitally, because my phono preamp has been sent back to the manufacturer for repair. That said, I did do something that I didn't initially want to do. I did jack into the phono preamp of my integrated preamplifier to listen to one release. Again, the reason why I was a little bit hesitant to jack right into the phono preamp of my integrated preamplifier is because I'm concerned about a potential current spike going through the system, and I really do not want to fry my Marantz integrated preamplifier. So let's get into it. I just watched Karsten's video this morning about the record fair that he had in his hometown. Well, I just went to a record convention in Houston. I found out that they do these quarterly, and they just had their winter one. And some of my experiences were a lot like Karsten's, except he actually bought something I didn't, so let me explain why. So I found out that with these record conventions that are not advertised, thank God, it's best to get in right when they open. If you wait a couple hours and you wait until noon, you're packed in like sardines, and you're digging through crates, and you got people next to you. You got maybe one or two people behind you because they want to see the records in the bin that you're looking at. And so I'm gonna put some pick and pick video here of some footage that I shot. Not very long, but it's like any other record convention. But the fact that you're packed in and an hour afterwards it started to get that way, it really starts to get annoying. And it's like you really want to look through certain record crates, but you're waiting 5-10 minutes for the person ahead of you to finish. So that really started to annoy me. There were a couple things that I saw that were great, but going and looking at the stuff, I just did not feel like spending that much for a record. So there were two things. The first thing was Songs of Innocence by David Axelrod. I have a reissue of it, and I don't know how it was sourced. It sounds okay, but I've been looking for original for the longest time. And the dealer for this album was charging $75, and I'm like, no, I don't feel like paying that much, and he wouldn't come down on his price. It was a nice condition album. If you haven't heard Songs of Innocence by David Axelrod, I recommend checking out the track Holy Thursday. If you're not too much into jazz, you're on the rock side, this is kind of a nice mix of jazz and rock. I wouldn't call it fusion per se, but I mean there's some nice electric guitar work, nice electric guitar solo that is has more of a rock foundation to it, and yeah, it's a great solid album. It's been sampled to death, so this is one worth checking out if you're not super into jazz but you're curious. So I'll include a link down below. Another album that I saw was a Clifford Brown Max Roach album on a Marcy, which is well known. The other dealer that I found that had this album he had it at 100. It was VG plus at least, and he wasn't going to come down. I'd love to have the album, but I'm not going to spend, or at least I didn't want to spend $100 at the time. So I walked out of the convention with nothing, and that's okay. So kind of a waste of time, and it was annoying. So if I go to one of these again, I'm going right at the start. So that was my experience. Now let's talk about some of the stuff I've been spending lately. So one of the things that I've been spending quite a bit of, which is playing in the background, is a German composer named Nils Frahm, who is a keyboardist slash pianist, and this is his album Spaces, which is on Erase tapes. Great stuff, a couple tracks, very new agey electronic, as hopefully you can pick up in the background. Comes with a digital download code, so I've been listening to it digitally. Erase tapes, I want to say that they're pressing their stuff at Pallas. It's not 180 gram, but definitely about 140, so definitely nice weight vinyl, custom labels. I can't recommend Erase Tapes records enough. Their principle is, once it's done they erase the tape, but hey, it's out there digitally, so kind of defeats the purpose, but kind of cool concept in general, in my opinion anyway. Next up, what I've been spinning is a couple of DFA releases. So I've seen a lot of folks in the BC showing William Onyeabor, and Luca Bop has been putting a lot of his stuff. He's a Nigerian composer, and there's an interesting documentary on his life, which I'll try and link below. But here's another Nigerian composer that has been working out of New York. So this is a DFA release. This is Sinkane Mars. So this is dance, pop, Nigerian, nice mix. He uses a talk box quite a bit. We'll put Peter Frampton to shame. This is probably on 180 gram vinyl. Nice custom labels. So I'll include a link below to a couple of the tracks on this album, and this is one which I highly recommend. This is probably, even though it was released a couple of years ago, I just picked it up this year, and this is one of the highlights, or this previous year, this is one of the highlights of 2014 for me. Next up is another DFA release, which is Museum of Love. It's a duo, really good stuff if you like synth pop. Album wasn't solid all the way through, like the Sinkane album that I just shown, but you know, the A side is really good. Since I was one of the first people to pick this up, of course, I got the colored vinyl version. I'm okay with colored vinyl. Black, I'm finding better. With black vinyl, it's easy to see where you need to clean if you're into cleaning your records. But yeah, if you're into synth pop, check this out. I'll include a link to one of the tracks below. Now, one of the things that I did jack into my phono preamp for was this guy. This is Duke Ellington's first 33 RPM release, which is interesting because before everything was done on 78 RPM, which has a side limitation of about 3.5 minutes. So going to 33 RPM, he was able to expand a little bit on his work. So you can see there's only 4 tracks here, and Mood Indigo is one of his most infamous pieces of work. But this is great. And so I mentioned in a previous video that Analog Productions is kind of trying to mimic what Music Matters is doing. So yeah, take a look at that. So they got nice black and white shots from Sony, and looking at the background of these shots, I think this was done in New York, in Sony's New York, or Columbia's New York studio that was in the Cathedral. I was really impressed with the pressing. On QRP, Quality Records pressings, I mean, they're doing 200 gram vinyl. This one came out nice and flat, dead quiet surfaces. I mean, this is going to sound just as good as any high-res digital file that you're going to get. It's excellent, and a lot of stuff that was recorded at that time is that way. So a couple other things that I've been playing digitally. Music Matters, I got their stuff last week. So they did a couple of drops for the end of January, and here are the albums that they put out. This is Herbie Hancock's Maiden Voyage. This is a must-have from Herbie Hancock's Blue Note catalog. So again, nice black and white photographs. Now that they've gone to 33 RPM, I mean, they've gotten rid of the numbered editions, and that's fine. But these are, let's see, pressed on 180 gram at RTI, and RTI I've never had a problem with again. And this is done on the New York, USA label, just like it was when it first came out. Mastered by Kevin Gray at Coherent Audio. You cannot go wrong with any of these releases, and I can't say enough about them. If you're into Blue Note, this is going to sound, at least in my opinion, every good as an original, and a lot of the originals that at least I can afford, they're not going to be as clean as this. So the next item that they put out for the month of January was Eric Dolphy's Out to Lunch. You know, this is a free jazz milestone I am not so much into free jazz. I'm more of a hard bop type of guy. But, you know, I do recognize the importance of this album. This is probably Eric Dolphy's only release on Blue Note. Again, beautiful gatefold. They did this guy on 45 RPM, but it's been out of print for a while. So I think that was part of their decision to do it on 33. Now, everything that I've read online is this meets or exceeds what they did on 45 RPM. So I think when they did this on 45 RPM, Kevin Gray was not at Coherent Audio. He was doing stuff at Acoustic with Steve Hoffman, but this is just phenomenal. I mean, this is another New York, USA release. Again, if you're into free jazz, this guy's an essential. Now, to talk about some other stuff that I've been playing a little bit digitally, talk about fan clubs. So, I'm a member of a couple fan clubs, and fan club releases nowadays are just fantastic. So this is Pearl Jam. I got this from the Tin Club. I've been a member of the Tin Club for about 17, 18 years now. And every year you get a nice 7-inch single. They have a biannual newsletter that they're putting out now. And they also include this guy digitally. You also get the opportunity to buy like a full-fledged concert from that year, which is really pretty cool. But in the newsletter, Pearl Jam actually interviews Jack White. Jack White, I'm also a member of his Third Man record club, and this was their most recent release, which came out in late December, I want to say. And this is a complete live concert, Bonnaroo 2014. He plays a lot of tracks from Lazaretto, White Stripes, so on and so forth. Again, a nice lenticular box set. And this is just incredible. So, Third Man Records, they put things out on a quarterly basis. It's $60, but for $60 you get quite a bit. So, just to show you what you get in the box set is you get some nice colored sleeves for, kind of along the Lazaretto theme, blue, white, and black. You get a nice poster type thing. You get a envelope full of black and white photos from the show, which is really, really kind of a nice touch. You get, this is a 3 vinyl set. Each of the vinyl pieces, which, you know, it's pressed at United, and everyone knows my feelings about United, but, you know, it's still pretty cool to have. It's pressed on white, blue, and black vinyl. I'll show you the blue piece since everybody knows what black looks like. But the blue is kind of a nice bluish white splatter. And the other cool thing about this set is they include a nice little patch of the television thing and a DVD of the the entire show as well, and a nice little sticker, which is probably a replicant of the backstage pass. So I can't give Third Man Records enough praise for the packaging and what they put out. It's great stuff, and you know, it's not out in the public domain, so you know, you really need to get on board with their fan club. And so if you're into this stuff, I highly recommend joining the fan club. Now to go back to Pearl Jam, Pearl Jam's fan club, the 10 Club, actually puts out advertisements for unique pieces, and this guy I just got last week, and you know, it was up for a week and then it was gone. It's this guy. So this is a live concert from 2000, May 10th, at Mount Baker, and this is the first time they had played any of the binaural tracks live. So 3 LP set and a nice hardbound book. The record labels are really, really DIY. The records were pressed at, you know, I think Rainbow given the matrix coating. That's on the side. If somebody knows for sure, shoot me a comment down below. Rainbow has been known for suspect quality QCing. You know, they did the release of the Beatles stereo releases that came out a couple years back, and there were some complaints about non-fill. But I do have the previous Pearl Jam release that they put out like this, and you know, it was really good. I didn't have any problems with the vinyl, so I can't wait to get my phono preamp so I can play this guy. But this is just one of the advantages that you get out of a lot of the fan clubs today, is some of these unique releases. So, hope you enjoyed the video. Please shoot some comments down below. I'll try and include some links to some of the stuff that I featured, and have a great weekend, everybody.